the car culture out there is just so amazing. Just being able to walk those streets at night, seeing random Lambos just drive by, or GTRs and Skylines and all kinds of cool stuff.
And the way they set up all the meets.
Yeah.
It's like they set up a meet, they tell you time and place,
and
you're about to head there, and then all of a sudden somebody gets a phone call and says, oh, canceled. Change your location. Another 45-minute drive. You drive in the middle of nowhere on the water, on a bridge.
That was
meet up
very
in a
fun.
parking lot. How cool is that?
That was very unique.
Meet up in a parking lot on a bridge on the water with hundreds of cars
and a
hundreds
bridge.
of
When you say a bridge, people think it's just like a regular bridge.
No.
Like it's a bridge with like a five-story freaking parking
Imagine
lot.
being in San Francisco, going from like Oakland side to San Francisco. Imagine going on a bridge of that size, and you stop in an island in the middle, and the island has like a carport, like a 5-story carport. We get out of the taxi, like we're in the middle of nowhere, and the guy opens the door, and there's a full-fledged like Fast and Furious car meet going on.
At 2
like,
levels.
I'm talking 2. Yeah, there's multiple levels, but it's like, and this was a random night. And it wasn't even like an on night. It wasn't even like a night that it was just a random like text message, like go check it out.
Wasn't that the place that everybody moved to meet up to go to the next spot?
Yeah,
that we
I
didn't
think
end up
but
going.
we didn't end up going to the next spot because it was already late. It was like midnight at that point.
Yeah.
Well, one thing I learned about trying to go to car meets in Japan and trying to make it there and this and that, next year when we get there, we got to make sure we buy like 2 cars, because being in an Uber trying to get the car meets, that don't work that well, because they're constantly hopping and they're going different places to meet. And obviously our buddy Danny from RMC was there, and had a beautiful Porsche he was driving around. So he would call us and tell us, oh, we're going here. Oh, we're going there. And I'm like, bro, we're in a freaking little Lexus minivan, bro, with Uber. I don't think we're going to make it there by the time you guys get there. But next year, I promised myself, I said, before we get there, I'm going to try to buy an R34.
Or we could do what Angie did and get a car that seats a couple people.
Yeah, that's actually
and then, like,
a better
one of
idea.
us can like shuttle. Like I could drive the car, because I even went and got my international driver's license.
Did.
Like, that's how like on top of this stuff. And these guys, the day before we leave, they're like, Dave goes, who has an international driver's license? I was like, I don't, but I was like, I could figure it out. Being me, I go to AAA, do the thing, get an international driver's license. It's pretty much just a money grab. Like that, they just stamp a couple things.
Me, I would have just drove on my California driver's license and get pulled over
I wanted
and be
to
like,
do it the right
bro.
way in case we needed it. So like I went and got an international driver's license for nothing.
Angie's
Angie
car
came
there
through,
was probably the perfect car. She had an Evo. She had an Evo, and we stuffed all. We all
her plus 4 of us.
Yeah,
we had that thing dropped. Like
Ruben was in the front, right?
Ruben was in the front, and us 3 in the back.
Jammed in the back of a Evo.
Sardine. My knee started locking up. After all, we stopped at 7-Eleven.
How good was that ice cream?
That was a bomb.
So this was a cut to going to Nakai-San's home, Nakai-San's garage.
Yes,
beautiful.
This was on the way back.
It was an amazing experience. Last days there, Nakai-San invited us to go check out his spot. And initially, before to go to his garage, he invited us to go have lunch with him. So we took an Uber, and again, with our capabilities in Japan, we put an address in, and with all due respect, but we ended up at like a project. The Uber driver opens the door and he goes, you're here in Japanese. And I go like, and I look at him, I'm like, no, like there's a mistake. Like we're not supposed to be here. And the guys are all like looking at me like, where'd you bring us? So we finally figured out, luckily the address wasn't too far off. We were maybe 10 minutes wrong, but yeah, we figured out our way.
We ended up in the middle of nowhere with like
it's like cinder block houses,
and clothes hanging outside.
It was like a very clean project, but it looked like a project vibe.
We're in the wrong place for sure.
Yeah, 100%.
I don't see no shop over here.
It was like Parthenia and Tampa between. But
way nicer. Between Tampa and Wilbur. I would take that project than any of the projects here any day. But
way better than Parthenia between.
Once we fumbled our way through the directions, we showed up at this nice little small like restaurant, you would say.
It was actually really cool.
The food was really good.
Very good.
But we had to take off our shoes again.
Yeah, and we couldn't sit because you guys didn't, and then the guys looking at you like come on, get with the thing. Take off your shoes, put it under the.
But we were playing footsie the whole time.
We were like, there was no room.
There was no room.
I couldn't walk.
Get your foot.
I hardly walked for a good 30 minutes after we got off that
circulation.
Table.
And we were there for a while. But it was very nice of Nakai-san. He had us with a couple of his other clients out there. He took care of everything for us. And he ordered everything, took care of the bill, everything. But The food
Noodles.
came out and it was amazing.
Yeah.
The food was very good.
That's probably the best noodles I've ever
Yeah,
had.
the noodles were
And then I
very
remember
good.
leaving there. We were gonna get an Uber, and Angie laughs at us. Angie goes, "What Uber?" She's like, "You're in the middle of nowhere, relatively.
Yeah, you're not going to
Uber's not
find
gonna
one.
come here."
Yeah, you're not
And I'm
finding
sitting there
an
with
Uber
Uber Black. I'm like, "No, someone will come." And everyone's like, "No, it's not gonna happen." So Angie was nice enough to drive us from there to Nakai's shop, which like we were all like, dude, our jaws were on the floor.
That was that for me. That was a very.
That was a crazy.
I told these
Yeah.
guys, I'm like, I don't care what you guys do. I'm not leaving here without going to that shop. So, thanks to them,
Yeah.
they made it happen. They came with me, and we went and met a bunch of people there,
Bunch of really cool people.
other guys
Yeah.
that own RWBs from all over the world. Well, just walking into that place, like getting into a street where you see like all these apartments and houses around you, and then all of a sudden there's just this random
Yeah,
small shop with a bunch of Porsches outside, all
In the
done
middle of
up
nowhere.
in the middle of nowhere. And you walk in, and it's just, you walk in, and it's so surreal because like it's a
The
tiny
door to the shop.
yeah, the door to the shop was
was-
Tommy almost hit his head on
Yeah.
that. Ruben couldn't get in.
4.5 feet.
Yeah, it was
5 feet.
it was awesome. We walked in there, and I'm just looking around like, dude, did this guy really start this and do this in this spot? Like the freaking paint booth.
And there's
was,
$1 million worth of cars sitting outside.
Yeah, there is.
Easy. There's
Yeah,
$1 million worth
there's-
of cars sitting outside. Very undescript. Very
Yeah.
like,
We even saw the GT2, the 997 GT2 before he cut it up, and they took us
yeah,
into
that was yeah.
They took us into the
Into
back
the
room,
back
secret room.
and the secret room, and they showed me this beautiful, like pristine 997 GT2 white, and they were like, "Yeah, he's gonna cut it," and I'm like, "Man, if anybody was to cut this car, it would be Nakai. The guy just doesn't give two about it." And just watching all those bumpers just sitting there,
Stacked all the
all
molds, yeah, the
stacked,
bucks.
all the molds, him sitting there and building a 964 right in front of us. He was actually building the rear canards for the 997 wide body. We watched him basically develop that. The paint booth is crazy. It's like a little like rollaway.
It's expandable. Like when you pull a car, you'll roll the thing out and it becomes
yeah, he like pulls it out and it turns into a paint booth and he sprays it. And the craziest part is that when we're there were what, 20
There's
people
like
in that
20,
place?
30
At
people,
least
and he was
20
still
people.
business as usual. Like he was dialed in while
He
there was
was
a party going
He was
on.
building the
It's
car.
like it's like a house party going on, and you're building a
Yeah.
car at the same time.
Full on.
Dude, it's like literally
The guy's
we're in a-
working and we were
We're like
walking
fumbling
over
around
him.
them. I'm like kicking a lug nut, and like the
Yeah, it was
What's
crazy.
crazy?
They were literally building this 964 and designing the canards on the 997. And there's like 20 people in there, people smoking cigars, having food. We're buying like t-shirts and sweaters and walking
Trying to
all
find
over
our
the
size,
place
like, hey,
and
can you
trying to
find-
look at stuff while this guy's sitting there just cutting stuff and jacking the car up, jacking it down, and
setting the caster. And
yeah,
the,
and
on
he's
the-
sitting there and having like, I don't know, 30 cigarettes while he's doing it.
Oh my God.
It was an unbelievable experience. It was so cool. I tried to buy a couple cars when we were there. Made some offers. He was willing to sell them, and then I realized that they're not 25 years and older, so
Yeah.
we can't bring
getting
them
him in would be tough.
But that was an amazing experience going there. It was unbelievable. I also wanted to go to Liberty Walk, but we didn't get a chance to do
We
that.
went to the
We
store,
did the store.
Yeah, we went to the store,
which
and
was
we-
cool.
was a very cool experience at the store,
Yeah.
especially for me. We walked into the store and I started buying some stuff. And then all of a sudden when I was paying, some guy's like looking at me and I look on the wall and there's a picture of a E93 M3, a green
The
wide
lime
body
green, yeah, the green.
Liberty Walk car with our supercharger kit on it. And it's got the GINTANI sticker on
Right
it.
on the
And it's
quarter
on the
panel.
wall in their showroom, at their store. So it was pretty cool. We talked to the people there. We're like, oh yeah, I built that car and this and that. And it was bad. We walked those streets.
They had
I
that
was-
cool F40.
Yeah,
That
and they
little
had the
F40
mini,
that
they had
was
the,
really cool.
they had
The
the
one
mini
outside.
F40 that I tried
Yeah,
buying. That
really
didn't work
cool.
out. I was denied. I
You
asked
tried
a
to
few
buy
ti-
everything there.
I tried to buy everything.
Yeah,
there.
everything there.
It was really bad.
Everything.
Oh, what about that bar with that guy with the?
Oh, we
Forgot about
totally
that.
forgot about that.
That
So
was Rapungi.
yeah, was it Rapungi?
Was it Rapungi? Hold on, wait. I gotta look up on my phone.
I think it was whatever. We went.
That
we,
guy's on Instagram.
and we're so
that guy's
stupid.
very famous on Instagram. Yeah.
So we ended up going to
in
Beverly Hills. Yeah. So we ended up going to what was the restaurant we went to? To like an American.
Oh, so we
steak.
decided
It was
to,
a
'cause
Wolfgang
out of us, we
restaurant,
decided
dude.
let's go have steak. Why?
when we told
But, like-
Dave we were going there, he's like, I'm out.
Because after 5 days, we're like, we want to have a
He's like,
little
I'm
bit of
out.
semblance
I'm not
of
coming.
America.
I'll meet you guys later.
So we went and had like a Wolfgang Puck steak, which was horrible to U.S. standards. It was horrible. horrible. But anyway, very nice people.
What a stupid move. But
and then
honestly,
after that
stupid move led to a
was
great
the
move.
Ginza.
Because we went, we
Where was
ate, we
it?
had our dinner, and then Dave rolled up and he's like, "What do you guys want to do?" And I was like, "Man, you know, there's that guy all over Instagram. He lights the whole bar on fire and does all this crazy and like grabs the bottle and it's like, whoosh, orangey." You know, that guy? I'm like, I want to go see that guy, bro. I have to see that guy, bro. That guy was the best guy in the world.
But
Tequila.
so
Bro, that guy.
it goes to show you how Instagram is not what real life is, because in Instagram you think this guy has like in LA standards, you're gonna roll up valet, big establishment.
nothing
this
like
guy's
that.
set up. We're walking down a random alleyway, not random street that's like a residential high-rise street. And then like we're walking and we're trying to read the sign.
But it was crazy. Dave's like, "What? Hold on, what's the place?" And I show it to him and he's like, "Bro, we're like a 15-minute walk from it." And I'm like, "Get the out of here. There's no
Yeah, we were
way."
very close.
Was that the
It
place
was
where
down
we
the
had to
street and
take
we
the
made it
elevator twice because we didn't fit?
'cause
Yes.
we didn't hit
Or
the weight
was it?
limit.
And then
Oh my god.
the lady, we all get into the elevator.
Oh my god.
And the
Not all of
elevator,
us,
no,
I'm
we
sorry.
tried
I
to
think
get
it
in.
was-
We all
yeah,
tried to get into the
in.
elevator, and the elevator was like,
Yeah.
The elevator did
it's-
not like
so
that.
it was
I think
about to
just-
explode.
It was just me, you, and maybe Tommy.
No, I think
Or-
no,
No,
Oh,
Ruben-
it was me, you, and Dave.
me-
It was me, you,
yeah,
and Dave.
me and Dave,
We
me-
get
me
in
and
the
Ruben.
elevator,
And I'm like,
and
"Dave,
the
get
lady
out."
in the elevator that's taking us up goes, "Just wait." Basically, right? Don't. So the elevator door closes. The second it closes, it reopens. And who is it? It's Ruben outside pressing the button. So
And Ruben went.
the door
Ruben-
opens, and the lady's like looking at his face, like,
He's like, "Too
didn't I
soon?"
just tell you? He goes, "Too soon?"
Because again, the lady said, yeah.
The lady was in complete
He goes,
shock.
"Too soon." She's like, "I just told you.
Like,
Let
wait
us
2
go and
seconds.
come back."
Dude,
Oh
the
my
door didn't
God.
even close for a second.
Bro, I
It
swear to
closed and
God.
we're like looking at each other. All of a sudden the door opens and Ruben's there, looks at the lady. He's like, "Too soon?" And she's like looking at us like, "What
What
the
are you-
f- is wrong with
Oh
these
my
guys?"
God.
Oh my god.
And we
that
get
was funny.
upstairs.
I think we laughed for at
Oh,
least
yeah.
half hour for
Yeah.
that. I
They-
mean, it was.
They loved us though.
my
We got up
God,
there,
man.
opened
Dude,
a bottle
No,
of
because
Casa
first they didn't know who
Azul.
you were, but then once they knew Alex from Gintani, the lady opened up because first the lady was gonna seat us in some random corner.
Yeah, she
But-
wasn't gonna
and
let us even go
It wasn't
in.
a big spot. It was one bar seating, and then a couple booths
Couple small
outside.
tables.
But then she was first like negative. She's like, "Oh, you're not gonna do this." Alex walked in, and some random guy there came and said, "What's up?" And the lady's like, "Okay, who?" This guy knows someone randomly here, so she sat us in a nicer booth.
It was
And
so
then-
funny though. The second we got into the hallway and we walked in and we could like see
So
inside
hot
the
and
bar,
sweaty.
and it's like hot as
Oh.
and all of a sudden it's like whoosh, and I'm like, "Oh,
Well, the
entire
ceiling
bar's on
caught
fire.
on
Yeah.
fire.
the ceiling's
The
on
David
ceiling,
fire."
the
Copperfield
lights
over here
were
is
on
like,
fire,
yeah,
yeah.
I know.
No, this guy
It was a very good show.
It was unbelievable.
He was definitely, what do they call it, mixologist or whatever.
Yeah,
They're like,
he's
put that
worldwide.
show. Yeah,
He's worldwide known.
he
That
put
guy.
that show on between
It was
sliding the stuff
insane.
down the road.
We made him cut the. I don't know if any of you guys have watched this guy on Instagram, but he takes the ice and he like chops it like crazy with like this big freaking knife that he has, and then he throws it into the cup, brings the cup in front of you, spins it, looks at you, and he's like, "Diamond," and you're like, "Holy." This guy's cool, you know? He didn't even say anything special. He just said diamond.
All
And
right,
you're
man,
like,
here you go, enjoy.
oh man. Next
The way
thing you know,
was
he's got
cutting the
like
ice.
gold sprinkling everywhere. It's flying around.
And
He
then
got
he
the
lit
whole-
his bar on fire.
He did light
Yeah,
his
and then
bar
when
on
he, yeah,
fire.
he, then
And then
yeah.
he saw my watch and it was over. He saw my watch and he's like, "Oh, it's an AP." I'm like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Oh, okay, hold on. He went
He
inside.
brought a bunch of watches
He
out.
brought his whole case out. I don't
Yeah.
even know why he has his entire collection of AP watches at his freaking bar.
Maybe we
but-
shouldn't say that.
Yeah,
No, it's all good. No,
It's
he's
Japan, it's all
sponsored.
good.
He was like
Yeah.
sponsored by AP. He brought out like his AP collection and started showing me his watches. He had a bunch of really nice APs. He actually had an AP clock on the wall at the bar, which was really, really cool. And then we hung out there for a little while. We drank there. It was great. The drinks were amazing.
A very good drinks.
And his mom was really cool. She told us all about
Yeah.
them coming here and opening up a bar in Beverly Hills. So hopefully next time we go there,
It's not going to be like too long from now.
No.